This is the virtual presentation of the Ka'u Tract maps as a part of round 2 of the Beneficiary Consultation series for the update to the Hawai'i Island Plan. Starting off, I want to cover some of the land use designations. Again, last updated in 2022 with the general plan update. This first slide shows all 5 of the homestead uses. These land use designations are homesteading designations and they produce 99-year homestead leases. Non-homestead uses do not produce 99-year homestead leases. Yellow is residential. That produces residential lots that are awarded from the residential wait list. Subsistence agriculture is small lot agriculture that pulls from the agricultural wait list up to 3-acre parcels. Supplemental agriculture is large lot agriculture, also pulls from the agricultural wait list. These are lots between 3 and 40 acres. Pastoral lots, large lot agriculture for pastoral or livestock raising uses. And then DHHL Kuleana is a new land use designation, raw without infrastructure lots intended for off-grid subsistence lifestyles. 2 examples of existing DHHL Kuleana homesteads are Kahikinui on Maui. These are DHHL Kuleana lots. Beneficiaries decided in the settlement plan and EA for the development of the Kahikinui homestead that those would be pulling from the pastoral wait list. So DHHL Kuleana lots for pastoral uses. And then the other example is King's Landing. In the King's Landing settlement plan and EA, the areas identified as DHHL Kuleana, but still deciding which wait list they'll pull from, if it'll be residential, agricultural, pastoral, or a mix. It will likely be a mix of those. This slide shows non-homestead uses. At the top in blue and light pink are community use and community agriculture. Community agriculture is one of the newer land use designations with the update to the general plan. These are for common areas. Commercial and industrial, red and purple, these are revenue generating lands managed by DHHL's Land Management Division. Revenues from annual lease rents go to the DHHL Trust. Renewable energy and stewardship are 2 new land use designation categories. Renewable energy is any land suitable for renewable energy projects of any kind. Stewardship replaces the old land use designation called general agriculture because that title was misleading. General agriculture makes it sound like it's an agricultural homesteading use. In actuality, it's not. And so stewardship replaces that. The last 2, conservation and special district, are for sensitive areas. Conservation is typically environmentally sensitive areas, but this can also include lands that are revenue generating. For instance, in Humu'ula, there's a large sector that is identified for sustainable coal forestry. Even though it's under conservation, it doesn't mean that the lands are not valuable and doesn't mean that they can't produce revenue for the trust. Finally, special district is also sensitive areas, usually areas that are in hazard areas, tsunami, floodway, coastal zones, maybe area for flood retention space, etc., etc. Oh, also commercial has a lot of cultural resources like Kalai at South Point. Okay, we're going to go into each of the tracts now. I'm going to cover 3 maps for each one. The reason why I'm doing 3 maps is the first map is to show you what the land was designated back in the 2002 Hawai'i Island Plan. The second map I'm going to show you is what was brought out in round 1 of beneficiary consultations back in August of 2024. And this third map is going to be the most updated proposed land use designations based on the feedback that we got from round 1 of beneficiary consultations. Diving straight into it, 2002, 65 acres along Hawaii Belt Road in Wailau, Mauka of Punalu'u Black Sand Beach, identified for residential homesteading. When we came out for round 1, upon analysis, it showed that these lands could also be used for pastoral homesteading instead of residential. Based on the feedback that we got, folks said absolutely not. They want this to be a residential homestead development. Folks had concerns that Discovery Harbor was developed instead of this homestead residential in Wailau. And folks also said that there's supposed to be 2-acre area of special district along the roadway there. So all of that comes from beneficiary comments. Next, Waiohinu. This area is, you can see Mamalahoa Highway that's there. This is about 261 acres identified for subsistence agriculture in the 2002 plan. Now, upon our spatial analysis, when we came out, we said, okay, these lands, the upper portion, Warmauka portion, is suitable for subsistence ag, pastoral, or kuleana homesteading. The lower portion is not as good for subsistence agriculture just based on the soil analysis, but could be great for pastoral or kuleana homesteading. We got a lot of feedback for this proposed change. Folks said absolutely not. They don't want to see any of those other types of homesteading. They do not want to see DHHL kuleana, a raw off-grid type of homesteading in Ka'u Moku at all. And instead they would like that parcel, the 262-acre parcel, to remain in subsistence agriculture. And so we did that. The other feedback that we got is there's a large portion, about 380 acres, that dark green section and the blue section. That parcel is a parcel that was transferred from DLNR some years ago. The issue is the way that it was transferred is through an executive order from the governor, and the title for the land has not completed being transferred to the department. And so because the title hasn't been fully transferred, it cannot be awarded out for 99-year homesteads until that title is transferred. So that is something on the department's to-do list. It was previously excluded because the title hadn't been transferred, and beneficiaries said that they don't care, they want to see it on here, and that regardless of the status of the title, beneficiaries should be able to weigh in on the land use designation. The comments that we got was this area is good for agriculture. There's an existing 5-acre farm lot up there being used by Ka'u Hawaiian Homestead Association. They'd like to see large lot agriculture in this area. So it's all in supplemental agriculture, except for that 10-acre parcel that's adjacent to Mamalahoa Highway. That parcel is identified for community use. It's currently under an ROE to a nonprofit organization that's going to be building the Ka'u Hawaiian Cultural Community Center there. Hana Laulima La Huyo Ka'u. Beneficiaries were very supportive of that project and would like to see it in community use designation so that it can have a long-term land disposition to Hana Laulima La Huyo Ka'u. Now this is Discovery Harbor. It's in brown here because it wasn't previously captured in the 2002 plan. These lots were added on later. Now in the first round when we brought them out, you can see they're all captured in residential, so it's residential lots. And the only changes we were able to hatch in the 3 parcels that are under a long-term land disposition under a 99-year homestead. The rest of these lots are still vacant and still need to be awarded out as homestead residential. The next is Kama'oa and Pu'ueo. Kama'oa and Pu'ueo. This is from the 2002 plan. In the inset map, you can see that covers the portion of special district. So at the bottom is Kalai Special District. It also covers a section of the road there. There was a small commercial area that had previously been identified at the top of Kalai. In the large map, you can see all the hatched areas. The blue hatched areas is over 7,200 acres of pastoral homesteading. There's over 3,200 acres of general agriculture. And then at the very top is about 178 acres of Pu'ueo subsistence agricultural homestead. Now, when we came out in the first round, The hatching that you see is along the pastoral lots along South Point Road, shows the 25 pastoral homestead lots. The striped area is striped that it could be pastoral homesteading or it could be DHHL Kuleana. Up at the top where you see the Pu'eo area, there's a large section that is under critical habitats. And so we had tried to reflect that area as conservation, and then also a small area of subsistence agriculture. And we got a lot of feedback. So feedback that we got was maintain the Pu'eo area as subsistence agriculture, just call out the critical habitat area, and then the department will need to work on how to create preserves within that homestead area to account for the critical habitat and also for the homesteading use. You can see along South Point Road, the hatched area is the DHHL pastoral lots, 25-acre pastoral lots. There are 25 of them. One of them is vacant. So you can see that's the one that doesn't have any hatching on it. The inset shows that Makai area of Kalai and South Point Road. It also, on this map, shows DWS's new water tank and DHHL's new water fill station that's still under construction. Now, some of the mana'o that we got from folks was all of the coastal area is special and important, and folks wanted to see that not in pastoral homesteading, but in special district. So folks wanted to extend Kalai from previously being 710 acres to now being double that size, 1,500 acres. Covering the Ainamana Legacy lands. For this section, this is Pi'ihonua, Upper Pi'ihonua, over 7,000 acres, previously in general agriculture. You can see the parcel where it touches the special district area, the Humu'ula lands. Previously a mix of the striped for special district, the light green for general agriculture, dark green for conservation, the blue hatching for pastoral, the light blue for community use, and the red for commercial lands. Now, when we came out for our first round, most of this area, the only hatching is the 789 acres that is in pastoral homesteading. And then it's mostly dark green for conservation and light green for pastoral homesteading. Now, we got a lot of comments from folks. Folks said that they wanted to see more of that 2002 Island Plan incorporated, as well as the Ainamana Legacy Plan. They didn't feel like it was properly captured. And so we're hoping that this better reflects it. Dark green is conservation. Light green is pastoral homesteading. The blue that you see there, the two big sections of blue, the 171 acres in the center, that is area that could be used for pastoral homesteading. However, that's where the bulk of the gorse is. And so there were concerns about the gorse and that DHHL needs to do more remediation and control of the gorse before parceling that out to homesteaders, that the gorse issue needs to be better handled before it's given out in homestead awards. And then if you look in the inset map, so there's a long stretch, 665 acres of blue, again, special district, along on the Mauna Kea side of Saddle Road. The reason why that's there is because that's all the lava flow. If you're familiar with that area, kind of right before you get up to the Saddle Road and the Alakupuna Mauna Kea Access Road intersection, there's a long area that is just lava flow. And so folks said that they don't want to see that given out in homesteading because that's not fair to homesteaders to have to homestead on lava flow. And so we carved that out and put it into special district. And then the area that's Malka of that, you can see the orange sections. There's a 1,343 acre area that's DHHL Kuleana that's open for homesteading, can be used for 99-year homesteads. That area does get quite a bit of rainfall. You can see the rain bands all the area that has rain bands are areas that have 60 inches of rainfall annually and more. And then there's a 1,895 acre portion that's also under DHHL Kuleana homestead use. That area is probably best suited for pastoral types of uses. The biggest constraint, though, is having an appropriate supply of water. DHHL Kuleana is for off-grid types of homesteading. Some of the mana'o that we heard from people is that it's taking too long to develop the homesteads, that folks want the land and they want to get on the land as soon as possible. And so that's why this area has been identified potentially for DHHL Kuleana homesteading. You can also see in the inset map, there's an area that's right along Saddle Road and the Ala Kupuna, 27 acres that's community use and 21 acres that's commercial. Now, if you remember, in the 2002 island plan, it was about 50 acres there for commercial use. Now, folks said that, Beneficiary said that they like the model that's used for Ho'omaka Marketplace in Kapolei, which is a commercial development where there's a Long's drugstore, there's a gas station and convenience store, there's a Chick-fil-A, and there's also going to be like a retail kind of strip mall area. Now, it's a commercial use, a retail space, but it's not managed by DHHL's Land Management Division. It's actually a long-term land disposition to Kapolei Community Development Corporation. So that is a beneficiary organization that includes leadership of all of the homestead associations in Kapolei. So in essence, instead of DHHL receiving revenue from that commercial space at Ho'omaka Marketplace, that revenue goes directly to KCDC, and they use it to fund their programs and for the construction of their community space. And so that's what Beneficiary said. They want that prime spot right there at the corner of the intersection of those two roads to be available for commercial use, but to be funds that go, instead of going to the department, directly to a beneficiary organization. Folks had said that there's no gas station that's up there, no convenience station, no rest stop space, and they'd like to see some limited development that's there that can utilize the traffic that goes over Saddle Road and be a revenue generator that the commercial space would in red would support the department, but that 27 acre blue space under community use is what would support beneficiaries. I do have to call out, there's an error in the map. That 27 acres is shown as special district, but it's supposed to be under community use. Okay, next steps. Any comments that you folks have, please share those during the comment period. Details on how to participate in the comment period can be found here. If you hover your camera over the QR code, it will take you to this link to the website and let you know what the duration of the comment period is, which is the 30 days, and how you can participate. Mahalo.